Alright guys and girls, this is Bagofsoup coming at you with another video. I talked about in my last video that I've gotten rid of my Dashbots and Scourges and Tempests out of my lineup. I wasn't happy in the last couple of updates how the Dashbots were so expensive to buy. They were too powerful and need to be adjusted, and they're just hard to get other than the black market, so I've taken them out of my lineup. And I said in the last video, I'm just using my regular lineup and still doing really well with it until then. And a couple of players commented on my channel and said, you know what? How's that regular? You know, I can't run an ANCILE with Terrans on there and Orkans on my Griffin. That's too expensive. I can't afford that. So I was thinking this week what I want to do instead is run a series of videos on how to build a good hangar with a small budget. Maybe you're new to the game or you don't have a lot of time or money. And I want to show some videos using just a silver paid hangar, or just silver in workshop, or silver workshop and gold the longer you're playing. So in this first video of this series, I'm running just an all silver paid hangar. Just silver paid bots and silver paid weapons. We are in domination mode. At least I can see the Dashbots coming in this mode because they have to spawn in at home base. And we're using all Griffins and a Leo and a NATASHA. Those are the three bots that you can use that are silver paid heavies. This Griffin has pins and TULUMBASes. It's a mid-range bot. You can see me hitting that lance from 500 meters, and since he has a physical shield, the rockets go right through it. This is probably the cheapest best bot to get in the game for silver. The Griffin is fantastic. It's one of the top bots in the game currently, and that it only costs silver is fantastic. You can run tons of sit-ups. And this is probably one of the most popular because all these weapons here, the TULUMBAS and pins, are all silver paid. So at any level of the game, you could start, and this bot starts at level 6 and the weapons at level 5, so already you're starting at a pretty good level. This bot can go all the way up to champion level, and even if you face ANCILEs and other shields, you just need two of these guys next to each other, any two splash bots like this, and you're going to take down an ANCILE shield and a bot. Just pair up with somebody else. So this is a fantastic, and you've already seen me take out two guys with it currently here. So once again, the Griffin is one of those top bots in the game. I am in champion level, so that's the reason I didn't pull out a bunch of medium bots to play with. The silver paid mediums like the Golem, the VITYAZ, the Boa, and the PATTON are great at different levels, but at this point they just don't have a lot of firepower or special ability. I may do a separate video for those and show you some of the setups. But just want to show you the heavies for more champion play here. And once again, I know some players that run 5 Griffins and still do fantastic. Even with the Dashbots and the Lancelots out there, the Griffin's really fantastic. So Punishers on the Griffin are also really, really good, and they're silver paid. They used to not be great. They were always a starter weapon, and you know, workshop weapons like Magnums and Terrans were better. But look at how the Punisher's cutting through this guy. It's like, you know, hot knife through butter. They've gotten several buffs this year. They've also gotten accelerated fire. They speed up to 150% rate of fire after a few seconds. And then recently they got the double damage to physical shields ability. So they're even cutting through shield bots and rhinos better in Rygens and Dashbot Mark IIIs than before. So this has now become a really good setup. It's got good range to it, and it's got a long clip, so you can see me busting through this Lancelot here, the shield, to help it take it down. And I did really good with this bot here, and have really been enjoying it lately. So if you're going to run a silver paid lineup, the Griffin with pins and TULUMBAS is fantastic, but the Punishers are really good too, so start leveling those up. You can take this all the way up to top level. I've seen guys running it now. Especially with all the ANCILEs out there, this thing will take, right here, it'll take down their shield and then be able to take have enough clip to take down the rest of the bot. And you just see me using cover here. I've been up on this ledge on the valley map, using that ledge to shoot over at different objects, and I've got a good line of sight here, and then I can back down. One of the issues we're going to talk about in this couple battles I'm showing is that none of the silver paid bots have any kind of physical shield or ANCILE shield, and they're not particularly fast. So you're going to be vulnerable to snipers, and you got to get across the field quick or you're going to get targeted. So using cover is going to be crucial when you're running silver paid bots. They don't have a shield and they don't have a ton of speed. If you want shields and speed, you're going to have to go with workshop bots or gold bots. But once again, the better you get at the game, the more you can learn how to use cover and use that slower speed to your advantage to partner up with other players. But just look at the damage this thing can do. I'm facing a guy with Terrans and Magnums there, and up close am able to outgun him, which is nice. So definitely a great setup. I would recommend it. And like I said earlier, hopefully I'll put out a set of videos with medium bots. But basically, if you're going to run medium silver paid bots, anything you can put on a Griffin, you can pretty much put on a PATTON. So you could do all Punishers on a PATTON, or all CRV pins for mid-range, or all Pinatas for close range, or all MOLOTS for longer range, for silver paid options. So just some ideas. If you're going to run mediums, go ahead and instead of the Griffin, run a PATTON. Now, of course, we're running a Leo. I think this is the second best silver paid bot to get at higher levels. It's got way more hit points than any of the other silver paid bots, including the Griffin. It's got the same speed of a Griffin. It doesn't have a jump, so it's susceptible to rocket and splash damage. You can't just jump away. But like I said, it makes up for that. It's pretty maneuverable for its size. It turns real nice and smooth, and it's got great firepower. A heavy gun and 3 light guns. And as far as silver paid weaponry goes for the Leo, really it's just a close-up Thunder or a long-distance Nashorn or King Day are your main options. So I go with a Thunder up close, and then really you could go with Punishers or Pinatas. I'm going with the Pinatas just to do huge, quick damage fast to help my bot survive, since it doesn't have a lot of speed or shield. But if you want the extra range, then just like the Griffin, you could do the Punishers. But check me out as we are nailing through this ANCILE shield, and then using our Pinatas after the Thunder goes to take the bot out. This guy can do great damage if you can use your cover and slow speed to get in close. This poor Fury here with, I think it's Trebs on there, has no chance. And we're able to just almost demolish him. Those 3 Pinatas are doing about 20,000 hit points damage each instantly, plus the Thunder. So within 2 seconds, you've already done somewhere around 85,000 damage in 2 seconds. So it's pretty great if you can, get in close to use it. So that was a pretty good match. We got to use our mid-range Griffin rockets, our Punisher Griffin, and our Leo Thunder Pinatas. The match worked out in our favor pretty well there. We'll see why when we look at the scoreboard. But that was pretty good for champion level, all silver paid bots and guns. Let's take a look at the score, see how we did here. Score is a little relative, and we'll talk about that. I did get top damage, top beacons, top kills for our team. But keep in mind, look at their team. Their bottom 2 guys did not do super well, so we didn't have a lot of competition facing us. That's one reason I did well. And keep in mind, I am in Champion League. And so I was maybe facing some lower players the way they pair up. There were some champions on the other side also, but that's just the way it goes. So scores are relative. What I really want to show you is not how good I did. It's just those are some of the best setups to use. So we're running another battle here on Canyon in Domination mode also, because I didn't get to show off the Griffin MOLOTS or the NATASHA. So we're going to start with this bot because it is a long-range map. And we are playing Domination mode, and you have to watch out for snipers. So it's not bad sometimes to start with a mid to long range bot and kind of survey the land, see what's going on. Once again, be careful for snipers on a map like that. And this is one of the weaknesses of running all silver paid bots and guns. No shield or speed. So you are vulnerable to snipers. Now my favorite MOLOT setup is actually on the Lancelot using the Tempest and MOLOTS, because I've got a physical shield, and back at 600 meters and beyond, no one can really hit through that very easily. So it's almost indestructible at far enough range. But like I said, right now, I'm vulnerable to the Stalker with Magnums, and I've just got to wait him out. I don't want to jump because all the snipers. Now watch how fast he dies once his stealth runs out, but I did take a lot of hits there. I can do better in this bot. But like I said, this is just kind of showing it off. This is definitely the cheapest, most powerful setup to do with MOLOTS. A lot of other setups are like the Leo and the Lancelot are going to require, and the NATASHA are going to require the Tempest on top if you want matching weapons. And once again, don't jump when there's snipers out there. It's just bad business, and I did it. But that Griffin MOLOTS is great up to 800 meters, and it does a lot of damage quick. It can outrange mid-range bots really well and get close enough in to take on some of those snipers. You just got to protect yourself since you don't have a shield. So definitely, if you want a cheap MOLOT setup and you don't want to do a Lancelot because it's too expensive, don't have a Tempest, go ahead and run the Griffin. We'll talk in our workshop hangar next video about how a Rhino could work because it does have a shield on front, but the jump on the Griffin is so great. So you can see me taking out another mid-range Griffin here, and you just got to outplay these guys. Once again, I don't have a good speed or a shield, but I have that emergency jump at any moment if I need it, and I'm trying to save it. I jumped there because I knew I was getting nailed by aphids, and it was either get killed by a sniper or get killed by aphids, so I made my choice. But we know from last video how great the Russian Death Button Griffin can be. And of course I jump right back into my Punishers because I see a boa coming my way, and just watch this thing cut through that boa, who has a lot of hit points, but the Punishers are just deadly. So hopefully you can see that the Griffin just works with a ton of setups, and these are just silver paid setups. The Punishers, the mid-range rockets, the MOLOTS as well. You know, there's other setups that we'll get to later with gold weapons and workshop weapons. I also would recommend, you know, yeah, you could put pinatas on a bot because they're silver paid, but I try not to mix weapon types and ranges if I can. So I could put pinatas on the light spots of this Punisher Griffin. Look at that, that was awesome. But honestly, the Punishers have a longer range, so I want to keep the weapons all together. But yeah, if you have to put pinatas and CRV pins together, you could do that on a Griffin. They're all silver paid if you need to. But I'd probably rather do Tulumbases and CRV pins that are all the same range as well. So what we're doing here is we're just watching these snipers. We're unshielded once again, and we have to be real careful. I'm trying to keep cover between me and the snipers and wait for these guys to come around the corner. And like I said, if you're going to have to run a silver paid hangar with a slow speed and no shield, you're going to have to deal with snipers on a lot of the maps. I did make a video a month or so ago called 10 ways to deal with snipers, and I encourage you, look it up. I'll probably try to link it. It just talks about some of the things you can do in a bot like this with no shield to deal with them, like keeping cover in between you and the sniper, keeping out of line of sight, partnering up, staying behind another teammate to protect you, all sorts of things like that to be wary of. It'll really help when you're running a silver paid hangar like this. You can see me cutting through that ANCILE pretty well down there. He can't even get out of cover. And it's cool. You know, that's an expensive bot that guy's got down there with an ANCILE shield and a lance. And we're sitting here with a silver paid bot just wrecking shop on this guy. And he can't even get out of there. Every time he does, I cut his shield down again. So once again, this setup can go pretty much all the way to the top levels pretty well. So we've done good there. Now we're jumping once again back into the Leo because I want to get up close to center beacon and try to retake it. And obviously you can tell here I'm speeding up the footage because one of the issues with the silver paid hangar is not a lot of speed to get to where you're going. And if it's in beacon rush, that's not a big issue, but in domination it is. When you start back at spawn point, you can't run in like a stalker or a rhino or a Gareth or Galahad or a dash bot. So keep that in mind when you're using a silver paid hangar. The price you pay for a cheap hangar is you don't get a shield and you don't get fast speed. Now keep in mind, once again, we are playing domination mode. So in domination mode, you'd think the Griffins would be a little stronger because a lot of them have range setups and they've got the jump to get a little further ahead on the field. But I bet you in Beacon Rush, if you're running the same hangar, you might go with the Leo or the Natasha as the stronger builds because you can come right out of a friendly beacon and spawn right there in the Leo Natasha and have that huge firepower right up close. So I'd probably use the Griffins a little more in domination and probably use the Leo Natasha a little more in Beacon Rush or depending on the map. A close map like Dead City, Power Plant, Moon, I would probably use the Natasha and Leo a little more. On more of an open map, I'd go with those Griffins a little more. So once again, you can tell I've sped up the footage here so you don't have to bear with me as we walk all the way to center with this NATASHA Thunders and Punisher PINATAS. But man, this thing is powerful too. The issue is, once again, if you can get close into range with your weaponry, up close, especially with the Thunders, you can do big damage. Pretty great setup. Now, once again, I still think the Griffin is the best silver paid bot, then the Leo, and then the NATASHA. So don't get me wrong, the NATASHA's gotten some great buffs. It used to go 17 to 19 speed, and now it went up to 27, and then to 30, and now it goes up to 33 speed, which is just 2 kilometers an hour slower than a Leo. So this thing's dishing out a lot of firepower for a pretty good amount of speed, and those Thunders are really taking down ANCILE shields quick. We're going to lose out here to this boa just because we were already injured and we're a big target. But I could have hung out under that center beacon even longer. We did pretty good considering that type of match. The snipers that we're dealing with unshielded bots, I thought we did pretty good there. Look who we're dealing with. You know, we're dealing with gold bots out there, Furies and Zeuses. And we're running, you know, Griffins, Leos, and NATASHAs with weapons like Punishers and TULUMBAS and CRV pins and MOLOTs. Here's a Griffin with gold paid Aphids and Orkans. So you're going to have guys that can afford some better stuff, but it's nice to know a silver paid hanger can do good. I want to say this. I know we've got a lot of problems with Pixonic right now because of the overpriced bots and things in the game that makes it really feel like a pay-to-win game. But keep in mind, every single weapon and bot that I used today in this silver paid hanger have all received a buff recently in the last 1 to 3 to 6 months. All of them. I did pretty well there. Didn't get any beacons because I started out with MOLOTs and we got killed fighting around center beacon. But you can tell, even in a loss, we did pretty good. Those were the second and third matches that I recorded, by the way, with that silver hanger. Right off the bat, the first match I got top damage, it just was over too quick. But I just wanted to give you an idea of how a silver paid hanger does. The Griffin, the Leo, and NATASHA have all gotten buffs. The Punishers, TULUMBAS, CRV pins, and MOLOTs have all gotten buffs. So definitely worth running. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd like to hear what you'd run with just a silver paid hanger and how it works for you with medium or heavy bots. If you have a comment, please leave it in the section below. And if you're not a subscriber yet, please join the channel. Stay tuned for the next part of our series on budget hangers. This is Bagofsoup, and I hope you have a great War Robots day.